Moses, and I help successful women finally start feeling like they have a bigger purpose in life. And one of the things I love to do the most is do these videos to help others start living life at their fullest potential. I remember how painful it was when I was trucking around life and I felt like I was meant for something bigger. And I wish I had these types of tools when I was going through that to really help push me through. And maybe I did, I just wasn't aware of them. But I really love teaching and I love mentoring, and so this is why I do it. And so I just wanted to kind of give a brief intro and a brief background of my story on why I do this, just so you can kind of get to know me better and understand why it is that I do this. So just a brief background on me. Sorry, I can't speak today. I mentor women who are really wanting to step deeper into their purpose in life. It's a little bit more than just realizing what your purpose is. It's about really embodying who you are at a core level, at a soul level, really starting to remove the layers of who we are at a human level and starting to connect really deep at a core level of who we are. And we do that by dismantling the false self and really embodying the higher self. And that takes a lot of commitment, and it takes a lot of commitment and a lot of responsibility to really dive deep into realizing who you are, like at a really deep core level. It's really deep inner work, and I love it. And one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this is because for a very long time I wasn't living and I wasn't embodying that. I was really caught up in society. I was caught up in the dramas of status quo. I put my dreams and my passions aside because I was so afraid of what other people were going to perceive me and how they were going to judge me. And because of that, I did have a pretty good career. I'm not gonna say that I wasn't successful in the corporate world, because I was. But at the end of the day, when I went home, I was really unhappy. But to even get me to a place where I was successful in the corporate world, I had to give up a lot of things that I was passionate about. I had to give up my dreams. But it also took a lot of courage on my end, coming from an abusive background. I didn't have the most loving and warm-hearted home growing up, and of course, which led me to seek a man that was very highly abusive and a severe alcoholic, and also led me to have children when I was really young. So you could see how my life wasn't as easy as it looks like it is right now. And so it took a lot of work for me to get from where I was to where I'm at. And and the reason why I share this and my background, just I guess a brief synopsis of my background, is because so many people, especially the women that I work with, they always look at me and they say, "Mandy, it's so easy for you. Like, you're telling me to do this, but it's so easy for you." And yeah, I make it look easy now, but it wasn't always easy. I didn't get myself in an abusive situation because this was easy for me. I didn't get myself struggling. I didn't struggle in life because all of this was easy. I struggled in life because all of this used to be very difficult for me. And I am definitely a big showcase of how you can take your life from just being ground zero to really coming up on top. And this is why I'm so passionate about sharing this message, because you really can go from where you're at right now, or where you perceive yourself to be, to where you want to go in a very short amount of time. I left that abusive relationship about 7 years ago, and now today I have an amazing relationship. I have pretty much everything I could possibly imagine. I know there's much more out there for me. I don't have it all yet in terms of society's rules, but in my rule, I'm pretty happy. I don't seek love anymore. I've created a really great lifestyle for myself. I'm able to travel the world. Actually, I've just committed to spending at least the next 2 years of my life traveling and just seeing the world and immersing myself in other cultures and being able to take my business along for the ride and being able to serve and help people at a global level. And I have to say, that's really the only thing I desire right now in this point in my life. And I'm really fortunate to have that kind of freedom, because for a very long time I didn't have that kind of freedom. And so I really, 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 really love teaching global leadership. I love teaching people how to really embody their higher self. Even if you feel like you've been on a spiritual journey for a really long time, myself as well, one of the things that I realized, and a lesson that I had to learn, was there's a big difference in intellectually knowing spiritual concepts and actually embodying it. Like, there's a big difference between the two. And I've come across a lot of people in my life who probably intellectually maybe know a lot more than I do, but the results in your life always show you where you're at personally. And for me, I've committed my life to really embodying the principles of spirituality and really diving deep in my knowledge of many different religions and many different self-actualized leaders. And that's who I follow. I really truly only follow those who have already become self-actualized, because I'm only going to follow information from people who are where I want to go. And so spirituality in my life is not about the mystics and the magic and the woo-woo-ness of spirituality, although that is an aspect of it. It's only a very small aspect of it. And a lot of people, when they start coming to my workshops or my speaking events and things like that, that's one of the things I always get from, especially a lot of business owners. They ask, oh, is this going to be really woo-woo? And the answer is no, it's not going to be really woo-woo. Once we go through the process, you're going to start feeling and embodying things that might seem a little mystic or woo-woo or magic, but it's something that you go through naturally, and it doesn't seem so woo-woo, right? But you get past that. And I think a lot of people in the spiritual world get stuck in that space of the mystics and magic of spirituality, and then they don't move beyond that. Because in realness and all actuality, every single person, every 7 billion people that live on the planet have that ability. So it's nothing special about it. It's just something that happens when you start to awaken your senses. And so that's what I have to say about that. But I have to say is, several years ago, I started my spiritual journey, and I went through several different stages. I was born and raised Catholic, and so that's kind of what I always felt. And then I started to feel something a little different. I started feeling pulled to something a little bit deeper, but I didn't know what that looked like. So I went on this journey over the last 7 years trying to figure out what that looked like, and it led me to self-actualization. And it was so crazy how, after studying different religions like Kabbalah and metaphysics and spiritualism and all these things, that it led me to self-actualization. And once I came across self-actualization and really started to understand it and really started to embody it, that's when my life took off. Before then, I was working on my mindset, I was working on my personal growth, I was working on my business, I was working on doing all these things. And it was crazy because I was focusing on just one thing at a time. And it was all right, I was first focusing on my business, and then money wasn't flowing into my business the way I wanted it to. So I realized, I've got to focus on my mindset. So then I focused on my mindset. Then it was I really got to focus on my money mindset. So let me focus on my money mindset. All right, now I got to work on my self-love. It was crazy. It was like all these compartments that I felt like I had to work on, and then I can come back and start working on my business again. And I think you can all relate to that because there's that information out there, right? No, let's work on this one thing, and then this one thing, and then this one thing, and then this one thing, in hopes that one day everything is going to tie together and everything's going to be all great. But I'll tell you right now, that is not the case. It doesn't work that way. And what I realized when I really started working on self-actualization was we need to take the compartments out of our life. We cannot piecemeal our life. We cannot focus on one thing and then this thing and then this thing. And it keeps us in a trap of this when and then mindset. Like when this happens, then this is going to happen. So then it keeps our goals and our desires always in the future. So we're constantly always chasing something. And then if we actually do acquire that one thing that it is that we really wanted, then we're off to the next thing because it's always when and then. Because we realize, guess what? I got this one thing that I wanted, but I'm not quite happy. Why is that? It doesn't make sense because I was told if I did all these steps and if I acquired this one thing, then I'm going to be happy. No. Then we're off to the next thing. And then we start to develop these really high expectations of ourselves. And then no matter what it is that we do, it's not good enough. So then we just constantly keep on replaying this cycle over and over and over and over and over again. And then one day we're going to be sitting on our deathbed saying, oh, what was that all about? And then one day we're going to wake up from this dream and be like, oh my God, I wasted so much time. And that's how self-actualization saved me. It saved me from that rat race. It saved me from monotony. It saved me from that cyclical behavior that kept me stuck, kept me hitting my head against the wall. And once I started to really just remember who I was at a soul core level and start to embody all these principles and merge all these things together, that is honestly when my life just absolutely soared. It absolutely soared, and I don't say that I don't say that lightly because it is absolutely true. I started to just connect with who I am at a soul level, and it was so funny how everything else, all the other things, just started to fall into place. It was just like, is it Tomb Raider the movie? You know, those crazy puzzles, and you just lock it, and all of a sudden everything just locks into place and this magic door opens. Like, honestly, that is like the perfect analogy for my life. It was just like, I just had to tweak these little things to connect to who I am at a soul core level, and then everything just opened up. And I don't worry about mundane things that happen in this physical world, like money and relationships and my health and all these things and business problems and da-da-da-da. You know, do I have to take action and put work towards those things? Absolutely. I'm not saying that I just sit on my couch every single day and everything just magically is fixed in my life. Absolutely not. That is not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is things come really easy when you're able to connect in to source just instantly, and information just comes, and the worry of life just melts off your shoulder because you just see things in this world so differently, and you're able to connect with people so differently, and you're just not human anymore. You're here in this human body, living a physical experience, absolutely. But you see things differently, and life just seems to always work out for you in your favor. And I never thought that I would ever experience this kind of peace and calmness in my life. I never thought that I never thought that this was possible. And I have to say that self-actualization and really embodying that has changed my life, and it is the only decision that I ever have to make every single day. Every single day, the only decision I have to make is if I'm going to submit to my lower self or my higher self. That is the only decision every single day that I need to make on a 24-hour basis. And if I make the decision to commit to my higher self, everything else falls into place. And that's why I teach this. And this is what I want for everybody else on this planet. And I really want to help other people step into the space that I am in, so you can also become really powerful leaders in whatever it is that you want to do in your lifetime, and step out to be able to help this world globally. So thank you so much for listening to my story, and I really hope that this resonated with you, and I look forward to delivering more of these tools and videos for you soon. This one is a little bit longer than the most of them, just because I wanted to give you a little bit of a background, but please feel free to subscribe to my channel. Feel free to follow me either on Facebook, which is Mandolin Moses, or on LinkedIn, which is also Mandolin Moses. And also feel free to watch our webinar that I have called Shattering the Glass Ceiling, helping you to go from where you're at now to where you want to go. And if you have any questions or comments for me, you can also email me at info@mandolinmoses.com, and all those links will be down below, so you can click on those and access those easily. And I look forward to serving you more in the future. Thank you so much. I love you all. Thank you.